Well, about a week and a half ago, I had an engine light come on, and it was the engine light right there, and it stays on. So, prior to coming on our trip, turn my radio off there. Prior to coming on our trip, I bought an OBD unit, which is plugged in down here, and I bought a Bluetooth unit, and so that way I could, well, I bought this for two purposes. I actually bought this originally because my truck didn't come with a trailer brake. So to install the trailer brake, I needed to tell the computer in the truck to enable that, turn that on. And this little guy right here, they have, I think, a new model of this, but this little guy right here I was able to get into the system, tell the computer in the truck to turn it on, and it worked great. But it also serves two purposes. So you could use this to do certain things within your truck. You can also use this to do diagnostics. So when my light came on, I connected the Bluetooth and I found out that I had a code called I think it was a PB51P, which says that it's a crankcase pressure sensor issue. So that's the first place that I started to look. So I ordered the part, and I'll show you what that looks like. I ordered the part, got this piece. And you could order just this piece here, but nowadays I think Ford sells the whole piece together. Anyways, I'm having problems right now getting my original piece disconnected from, so I can pull it out. I'm having problems right here. I tried once. I'm going to go back and try it again. But what this does is a sensor. So I do have some oil leakage, and that is probably through a seal, and that's one of the reasons why this sensor comes up. There's too much pressure. So I know that if I can get this fixed, then I might have solved, there's an imbalance or something that's wrong, might be clogged or messed up. And I know that you can clean these, etc., but I'm going with this route. But just saying that if I can get that sensor off, this clip off, I mean, it's so simple. There's a little pin right there, but there's also one at the bottom. But I'm having problems. I'm going to try it again. And if I can get it off and get this replaced, I'm going to cross my fingers. That's the other thing. That's the other thing that's nice about with the this guy is you can clear the codes. That may not be a good thing, but if I can get it replaced, I'm gonna clear my code and then see if I have a thing sensor come back again. I do have oil leakage from a seal, and I do know that I'm going to have to get that fixed. The seal's probably gonna have to be replaced, but I want to see if I can correct the pressure issue. It's the imbalance, I guess, between the oil in there. So I'm getting too much oil or too much pressure, but it's causing my seals to leak, and I don't want to be stuck on the side of the road. So the reason for this video is you should have an OBD link reader, whether it be one that's got a wires and code, or one like this, so that you could actually do diagnostics and see if you can fix your problem. So anyways, that was this little guy. It's small. I really liked it. It was bought this off of YouTube. There's a link right there if you want to scan that code or whatever. It'll scan for you, but I think they do make a new one. But I really do like it. I'm not a mechanic. I am illiterate when it comes to working on cars and trucks, but at least I got the code. I got the part that I think it could be, but I will have to take it in and have my seals checked and redone too. And so anyways, wish me luck, but I just wanted to throw that out there. This is a very small part. It's not too expensive. I think it might be under 150 bucks. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it's a good thing to have. with you. And yeah, that's that. Thanks. So I had to take off this cover here, and I've got some leakage here from a seal, and this is the part that I need to replace. So I'm having problems getting this metal, this electric clip off. And then once I get that off, if I can get that off, I replace this, put the cover back on, I'm good to go. But I'm gonna have to get my oils, one of these seals is replaced. I think it's leaking somewhere in here. I got some oil drippage going down, but yeah, right there. If I can get this off, I'm golden, but I'm having problems getting that off. Well, I got the part replaced. A couple things happen after you get the part replaced. The code doesn't immediately disappear. It's still got the check engine light on. But some people said that you can leave the code on, leave it the way it is, and if it could self-correct, or I could go into the OBD and clear the code. But if there's a continuing issue, the code should flag up again. So I've heard that before. So I'm gonna try and clear my code. I am gonna stop and get some oil, because one of the things that this particular code does is this code says that it decreases fuel efficiency, and I am leaking oil, so that's pressure, and that's one of the other things that you'll blow seals. So I know that I may have a major problem, a very costly one, because of this very inexpensive part. I mean, this part itself was, you can buy the little sensor for like under 30 bucks, and the tube, etc., was about 65, and it's pretty easy to replace. I was having problems, but it is really easy to replace yourself. Problem is, now that I've got this leaky seals, it might be super expensive. So I don't think the sensor itself it came on too late. So the code itself came on, now this is going to sound weird, the code itself came on about 3 weeks ago, 3 maybe 4 weeks ago. We drove it with the code on for 1 week. We drove to the coast, it came on, and then while we were at the coast, we were there for 1 week. We didn't do a whole lot of driving while we were there. Then from there we drove to Vegas, and while in Vegas for 2 weeks, the code disappeared immediately after we got to Vegas. That's when I had the part. I had the part sent to Vegas because I knew we'd be there for 2 weeks. And then while in Vegas, it didn't have the code at all for 2 weeks straight. And then I picked up the trailer from storage, and then after driving from Vegas to Zion, the code came back. So it was the pressure with the trailer. I think, I don't know, it could be something to do with the tow haul. But I'm, like I said, I'm not a mechanic, and I don't know. So anyways, I am going to clear this code. I did the first part. I'm going to pick up some oil, because I don't want to be stuck having my gasket continue to leak oil, and I get stuck somewhere without no oil. So I'm going to get some oil tomorrow, and there's nothing near here. And then I am going to clear this code now and see if I'm going to cross my fingers that was the issue. But I'm still going to have a seal problem, which could create all of this all over again. I just don't know, because I just ain't a mechanic. So anyways, let's get that code cleared. Okay, if this is working correctly, I don't do this very often, but this is the OBD Link MX screen, and I'm going to hit the diagnostics, and it should do, I'm going to do generic, and it should show the PB, I think PO 51B, which is the crank pressure sensor range performance is out, and then also permanent. And there's a couple other things on here I'm going to have Ford check out when I go back in. But see on the screen there, it says clear the code. So I'm going to clear the code, and I'm just going to do what I had before, the generic. So this is going to reset this. code. But my engine light's still on. I'm going to turn the car off. I'm going to turn the car back on. And I'm going to see if my code clears. Okay, so it says on there permanent, the code was there. I'm going to go out of the screen recording, and my engine light is now off. So we are going to see, because we leave here from Zion and we're going to drive to get some oil, and then we're driving to Bryce. So I have about a 3-hour drive, and we'll see if that engine light comes on between now and there, and I'm crossing my fingers that that is the end of that. Well, this was actually underneath. I just pulled that up, but that was my seal job that I did with some 3M moonroof sealer tape. And the reason I put this on is because the Ford moonroof bracket rails, the brackets, are cheap. They're plastic, and they both have broken, so my sunroof doesn't open, my moonroof. And it got a leak this last winter, so I put this on here, and so far it's done a really good job. But I'm taking it into Ford to have them give me a quote on getting those brackets fixed. They're like a $60 part for the pair. It's just the labor, mostly, which involves taking the whole moonroof out, replacing the 2 rails, getting them back in, and then getting the motor and the sunshade reset. So that is on the list when we get back for a month. It's going into the shop to get, I got a rattle noise on startup, which I think is cam phasers, which is another problem that Ford has had because they have some really cheap and bad phasers. And it's still under warranty, even though the truck's out of warranty. It's not really a warranty issue. They said they just extended, I don't know what they did. They're calling it something, but my truck's under 60,000 miles for 2017. And if it's under 60, that particular part is covered. So it's going into the shop to get that checked out, the moonroof checked out. I had that seal leak, so that's getting checked out. And yeah. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be in the shop for probably 2 weeks. That's my guess. And we'll see what happens. And I don't know about the cost. Alright, well, my first issue with this 3M tape is that I'm peeling it up. The sticky adhesive is staying down, and I'm pretty dang sure that I'm going to have to get that up before I can get the, have them quote, give me working on this thing. So that, I thought this was going to peel up nice, and now I was looking at maybe a 10-minute removal job, and if this stuff still stays stuck to the roof, I'm looking at probably a good hour of trying to get this stuff off with a rubber scraper. Well, hey everybody. I'm on my way to see about getting a new truck. And it wasn't in our plans. The plans were to have the truck that we had all paid off at the time we got our travel trailer and we were setting off ready to do our thing. But this last trip, 2,500 miles, did the Utah state parks, and came back and left here with a good clean of bill of health from the Ford dealership. And then it just, one little thing after another. We had an engine light come on. We had a sensor replaced. We had a cold start rattle happening, and then we started to have this death wobble shimmy at about 45 miles per hour when we're braking, hard braking, especially when we had the trailer. It really shook the truck. So we brought the truck into the dealership when we got back into Oregon, and yeah, it had the notorious EcoBoost 3.5 liter cam phaser failure. But I only had 52,000 miles on my truck, and the extended warranty from Ford only went through January 1, 2023. And that really sucks. I never got the letter, but I never had the issue until, well, now I'm out of warranty. I'm a year and a half outside of that date. And the bill for not everything, but the bill was $7,000. $7,000 to replace a VCT malfunctioning, which is basically saying it's the cam phaser. And they want to change the timing chain in the same process, even though they haven't inspected the timing chain to know that it needs to be changed. They still want to give me a quote for doing it. And also there's a gasket, I think the the driver's side valve cover is leaking, and all of this, everything I think has to do, they said that the two different problems, not related, but I swear, you know, I'm towing under my weight limits. Like, I have a 11,000 pound towing limit, but I'm towing an 8,000 pound trailer. The tow haul function in your truck puts your RPMs way up where it's just ridiculous amount of pressure in the engine. And it's understandable that you're going to have too much heat, too much pressure, and you're going to have gaskets and seals leak and bust. So it's part of RV life. I mean, this is part of RV life. I mean, it happened to people outside of towing, but for us, this is I think a towing issue. Even though the F-150 3.5 liter EcoBoost is towing within its limits, I don't think the truck can handle the travel trailer. And maybe there are people out there towing and they never have any problems, but lo and behold, I've got a problem. So we're wondering, do we want to spend $7,000 and potentially go through overheating again, which it's going to do, lots of compression, lots of just, if I use the tow haul mode, which I've read people don't use it going down hills, but then you run into the problem I had maybe with my rotors, because see, now I got that death wobble. They're saying I have a cracked, warped rotor, and before I left here, the same dealership told me my rotors were in excellent shape. So between here and California, 1,000 miles, I developed this crack and warped my rotors, and had no problems last year. But so I don't know what's going on. It's just, you know, it's one of those things that's it happens, but it's also part of your RV life. Now this is our vehicle to tow our home around. So we had talked about potentially getting a bigger truck, and so I'm going to look. I know you're going to say get a 1-ton, get a 1-ton, but we're looking at a 250. We don't expect to get a fifth wheel anytime soon, or a bigger trailer. We actually are considering potentially getting an RV motorhome, and that would be probably in a few years though. So I'm pulling into the dealership now. I'm going to test drive a truck, and I might get a videotape of the truck itself in a few minutes after I'm all done. I told him I was coming to do a test drive. There's the truck right there. All right, well, this is the truck. It's similar to what we have. I don't know if it's exactly the bells and whistles that we're going to have in my truck, but similar, very similar. Just a crew cab. The fold-up seat. I guess they call that the 2040. My truck, of course, I bought the weather pads, which I'll have to do again. I just put those seat covers on my truck, and I'm not sure if I get to keep them or not, so I might be doing a trade-in. This is a plus. I like to have that. I wasn't sure if this was going to come with anything. This one doesn't come with air conditioning in the back, which wasn't a big deal because on my truck it sucked anyways. Doesn't come with the bed liner, but I can either throw a truck pad in the back, horse pad, and I can always paint the edges if I want to with some bed liner, or just get it done for $700. And these are the things, nice upgraded USB-Cs, which is not a big deal to most people, but everything should be going USB-C these days. And yeah, that works out great. It does have an inverter, so it's got the 12 volt and the jack there. I wasn't thinking it had the inverter. That's a plus, because we have devices when we travel, so we put all these things in your cameras, towing stuff. So yeah, definitely a little upgrade. So I'm thinking about trading in my truck. This is the 7.3 liter gas V8. It has about 14,900 pounds of towing, 22,000 with weight distribution. All right, well, this truck right here is going to be mine if I can get in here before somebody buys it tomorrow. This is what we're going to be towing with from now on, and I hope I don't have any power issues with the truck. Well, I'm transferring the stuff from my old car, and the whole back is full. And it's funny how much stuff you actually have in all the nooks and crannies, and the doors, everything. I'm trying to get it in here, but I'm not organizing it. It's just kind of getting thrown in. Taking my seat covers off I just put on. So everything, you know, when you get your cubbies get full of crap, right? And all your little, yeah, it's time to empty all that stuff out. I got to take all my mounts down. which may not fit in the new truck. Yeah, it's no fun, especially when you're not organizing as you go, because it would take me forever to do that. But yeah, it's again part of the RV life. This is a sudden, event for us. The truck is actually in great condition, but that said, is it worth it to do this to this? If you're a full-time RVer and you're towing and your engine, Ford says that this engine should be able to handle what I'm towing, no problem. I beg to differ because of the problems I'm having. Part of the problems I'm having, not all the problems, part of the problems. And then this guy here should get us to where we need to go safely. All right, let's get back to work. I'm really hot. Well, this is goodbye. And this is hello. So I bought this truck with the intention that it was going to be my life truck. I bought it 5 years before retirement, planning on buying a travel trailer, and that wasn't going to be super big that this thing could handle. And 2 years into towing our travel trailer, the engine's overheated. There's too much pressure. There's blown gaskets, valve cover gaskets, the notorious 3.5 liter EcoBoost 2017 to 2020 are notorious for having the cam phasers go out. So if you're out there listening to this, don't buy a Ford 2017 to 2020. And there are Expeditions that have that problem too. Look up the cam phaser issue, Ford cam phaser issue. I'm not picking on Ford. I'm just saying that they did extend the warranty on the trucks, but they didn't do it long enough. It should have been. This truck has 52,000 miles on it. The extended warranty for the cam phaser issue was 5 years or 60,000 miles. And it expired on 2023. So that was a error on their part. They should have, if Ford would have kept it going, then I would be paying for a little bit, and I would still be driving this car out of here. As it is, I'm driving this car out of here. Same length box, 6.5. Couple minor things that are different. This one doesn't have a step in the step in the tailgate. This one has a step in the tailgate, and that's a great feature, guys. If you're out there, I love this feature, and I'm gonna miss it here, so I'm gonna have to buy myself a sturdy step stool to get up. The one that I have is actually on recall. Different receivers, I got to fix that. The other thing, this one minor thing in here, there's a box link system in here. This one has the ability to put the box link in. This one has let's see, does it have any unique features that this one doesn't have over here? This one has in-house navigation. This one, you have to link it to your phone through audio Android or Google, I think. I haven't been able to actually get my Bluetooth set up on this yet. But there's pluses. I do like the mirrors they're extendable and they fold in. There have been times when I needed those to fold in. It's got the skid plates. This one has the skid plates, or at least it should. This isn't going to get as good gas mileage as this one did, but with the engine problem, it was lagging in fuel economy. But this one doesn't. This one has the rear window, which I never used, and this one doesn't. This one has the moonroof, and this one doesn't. And we're glad, because that moonroof is cheap. Don't buy any truck with the moonroof. They're a waste of an option, money, and the rails, the guides in those break. They are notoriously on forums as breaking, and both of mine broke. I could not close my sunshade, and so I had a piece of cardboard that we put in there, so that was kind of a bummer pain. So those are the differences between the two. Pretty much the interiors are about the same. This one here has a couple more outlets. It's been upgraded to USB-C, 2 in the back, 1 up front, a USB 12 volt. There's an inverter plug 12 volt, which is one more than I have. And the other truck has one, but it's in the cubby box. So in this one has the ability to seat 6 people also. So it's going to be different, but I think my wife and I are going to continue to RV, I hope. And I think this is going to give us that little extra confidence that we need to stay on the road. Oh, the other thing that I got to do, this one, I put the tonneau cover on. And this one, I got to get I want to get, since I have the extra ability for carrying more cargo, I would like to get a camper shell on this truck. And I'd love to get one that has doors. I'm probably not going to be carrying this box with me when I go detecting. I'm probably going to have my bikes in the back of the car, the truck. If I can get a canopy, the bikes will be back here, and then my metal detector and stuff, because that's my hobby. You know, I started metal detecting in 2010, but it's grown. It's my retirement hobby. But that'll go back here on the floorboard instead of the bikes being in here, which was always kind of a bummer to get out. And yeah, so that's the plan. I don't need the box. I bought the box intentionally to fit underneath this to hide. It's possible I could keep it, but the way I pack my truck up, I probably won't keep it. And there really isn't no need for it. There's just very little in there. So it just takes up space. Oh, and it could go in the back of the trailer, but that's for another time down the road. All right, that's the next project. Well, I'm at Dick's Canby Ford, and I'm just going to keep this really short. That the salespeople that I had today was Autumn, and I've dealt with Darian. They were really good salespeople. If you're ever looking for a Ford and you want to go to someplace, come and see these two here at Dick's in Canby, Oregon. I don't have any complaints about the sales part. The only negative part that I had was with service, which is the first line that people, when they buy their vehicle, they're happy. When they have a problem, they come back to service, and of course, service has to be the bad guy. In this case, my wife and I were both dissatisfied with the way that the service department had handled the way that they explained things to us. We've taken our vehicles to other service departments, and we've gotten pictures and arrows and explanations and everything. Very professional, very the way you want it to be done. Now, I came in and said I had this, and this. I got charged $196 service fee. Well, I take that back because they said that they were going to waive that fee because of the trade-in. But I would have been charged $196 for the things that I said I needed them to look at. And they came back and told me the exact same things that I told them was wrong. And I could visibly see problems. I could hear problems. And I know there's no way that they were able to diagnose that correctly by telling me that they need a timing chain replacement when they don't even know what what that looks like. So there are some things I thought were we based this trade and this purchase on the tech service department's wording and how they responded to us. It cost us a lot of money to do this. We've been burned by Ford once before with our Expedition, and now we kind of feel that Ford has kind of screwed us again with those cam phasers. Those cam phasers should have been on a recall that are in those 217s to 2020s and those Expeditions. I can't remember what they were, what years they were. I think it's 2019, 2020s. But those should have been recalled. I should be keeping that truck right there. And this deal, this big expense that I have, should not have happened. But in a way, I will say this truck that I'm in right now will serve me better for RVing across the country, and it'll feel safer and it'll do better than this guy. And this guy, I've had him for 7 years with 52,000 miles on it, and it served me very well. So goodbye, my wonderful F-150 with its lithium gray, brand new tires and brand new battery. Goodbye. Well, this is the mess from my old truck. I just threw it in the back seat area without really organizing it yet. But one thing I do notice is that there's a little bit less. There's actually more in some areas, a little bit more room here. There's less cubby space in this area, even though they added a couple compartments, a little tray thing and a second glove box. But I'm surprised they didn't put a tray, like my F-150 had a tray underneath the seat. And I loved that tray because I put in a couple of these boxes of stuff. I mean, it's nice they stay contained, but I think I can put those boxes in there, and I might be able to just put a bungee cord just to keep them from sliding out. But they've cut corners in a few places, and they've added a few, like now you have two water bottle holders on each door versus I had one before. A little bit bigger space. But I'm going to put it all together. The hardest part is going to be putting these brand new car seats that I bought for the other truck for this trip season in here, and I hope they fit. And the reason I took them is because I bought those for the F-150. But when I got them and I did a review on these, a video review, there was a little bit of loose gappage, and when I went back to check the tag on them, which I don't know if it's on any of these individual ones, but the tag actually said for the F-250 and not the F-100. But they fit okay, and I just left it. So I'm hoping that error on their part will serve me going forward. All right, time to empty this truck out. I'll lay it all out, and then I gotta pull all this out and figure out what I'm gonna do for bed lining. I can go and have it done, sprayed. It's gonna cost about between $500 and $700 to have it sprayed in, or I can just get a mat on the bottom, which would be good, except the fact that stuff doesn't slide very good probably on those rubber mats. I mean, it's a good thing so they don't slide, but when you've got totes and stuff, you're sliding in and out, it's kind of nice to have them just slide in. So, or I could do my own, get 1 or 2 gallons of my own liner and roll it in and paintbrush it in. And what do you guys think? What should I do? But yeah, so I know that that's going to get scratched pretty easy with just everything, like little tubs and stuff going in and out. But I know bed liners, when you spray them in, I could have it scratched up for 3 years and then have a bed liner put in and look like brand new. So those are options I have, and more expense. One thing we've noticed a little bit between our 2017 F-150 we had to this one is even my wife noticed that things sound and feel maybe a little cheaper, flimsy, you know. It's just not even held in with screws. It's just those stupid little plastic tabs. They're cutting cost in the wrong places, and it's kind of a shame, you know. I forgot what the phrase is, but if I remember, I'll put it up on the screen. It's supposed to be Ford tough, you know, but it's looking like more like Ford weakened itself in some areas. It just seems cheaper than our F-150, and the price tag on this 250 compared to what I paid my sticker price on my F-150, only about $7,000 difference between the two. Well, another thing the truck doesn't have that my F-150 had is remote start. So the truck does not have remote start. So there's a lot of stripped down things about the truck itself. The 2024, I think they've done the body style. They added the steps. I'm not sure about that one. That's what they told me. But pretty stripped down overall. I'm going to get a drop-in bed liner, I think, versus spray-in. Last time I got the spray-in, well, I didn't get it. It actually came with it. So that's another thing the other truck had. But I'm going to get the drop-in. It's about half the price, and I am planning on getting a camper shell for this, so it's going to be undercover, and I don't do a lot of the needed for the bed liner, so that's just the way it's going to go. Trying to cut some cost. It's going to serve its purpose by keeping the back a little bit more protected, but I don't have to be gung-ho about it. But remote start, and I'm kind of glad it doesn't have remote start, because part of the problem, from what I'm reading about the cam phasers for the 2017-2020s F-150s, was that part of that starting the motor. There's a guy on YouTube that was talking about how Ford could have corrected a lot of problems if they had allowed a little bit more oil to be, I guess, I don't know the terminology, to be injected into the cam phaser area before the engine turned over. And remote start is the same process. It's a quick start. So I'm kind of glad I didn't use it. I used to use it a lot, and I really did enjoy the remote start. So I'm going to miss it, but I'm also not going to miss the potential headache that thing had caused. So just going to throw that out there. And no wheel well covers to go with the truck also. Yeah, my last truck, my F-150, sure had a lot to offer. This one has more exposure to crap. So a lot of little things I could add over time. Not sure. I am not the mechanic, and I know that it's just a matter of putting something in here, but is it worth it or not? You know, is it worth having some sort of protective cover in there, or just deal with the exposure, the mud and all the crap that's going to get in there? All right, well, it's one more thing that I just noticed. Like I said, unfortunately, this truck was bought. Unfortunately, it was bought on sort of a rush. I did look at about 7 different Ford dealerships in Portland and around the area at their inventory. They did not have a whole lot of these in stock. There probably were some 6.8 liter diesels, and I think there were some 6.8 mini Zillas. This is called the Godzilla motor. But they had more of the 6.8, which I'm not sure if that's something that they're moving to and away from this one. But a little bit less towing capacity, a little bit less everything else, but it might have given it a better gas mileage, and there might have been more on the lots with more options. Your thoughts and ideas are always appreciated, and Like I said, I'm not a truck person. For me, it's just a vehicle that I haul stuff in. I use it it's more practical. I haul stuff, I tow stuff. That's what I need it for. And space for family. So that was it. It's not really a daily driver, and it's for practicality purposes. So it is pretty basic. It doesn't have a lot of bling to it. So maybe that's the way it goes. But tell me if those things, those covers, wheel well covers inside there, are very helpful to keeping the rest of the parts, the shocks and the springs and all that stuff, keeping those cleaner, if that's the way to go. I'm sure it is. I just want your feedback. Well, I just got a drop-in bed liner. I opted to go this route versus the spray-in. Yeah, there's only a couple of weird things that I found, like these little, this is where my rings are, and you do lose space with the drop-ins. This is where the tie-down straps piece are, but you can see I lose probably 3 inches of space on the side. So for some people that's a lot of space, and the fact that they have these, it's kind of a pain in the butt where you got the tie-down strap like right there. So I'm thinking about just leaving them in place and then putting a crisscross slit through it, so that I can just get a tie-down strap just in there, hook it and stuff like that, and then I don't have to mess with these really dumb design flaps. And this is Ford's official drop-in accessory. They got the four. See, these are a pain in the butt, so that's why I want to just cut the slit in them. And I'm going to put a cover over here anyway, so there won't be a lot of rain back in here. Some people said that they complained that they don't drain, and it's pretty stupid design that they don't have any drain holes or anything in the corners. Think that would be like a given. It's basically, I know the back end it can drain, but depends on how you park. Rain just pool. But they don't come with any covers for these type of, used to be like the box links clamps on my old one. They give you a rubber little gasket here so you can turn your lights off and on all the way around. So that just a rubber push in, push out type thing, turns off and on. And I forgot to look to see what was underneath this big one, but I think this is a compartment for where you can have electrical, but again, tie down strap and nothing much else under there. So I think I'm just going to cut a crisscross in each one of those, so I can have quick access in and out without messing with those rubber things. But the bed liner's in. It's not really held down too well. Eventually it is going to probably wear the paint off on this. So I do have a rubber pad that I'm going to slide in underneath this and see how far up I can get it. I have a couple nice little rubber pads. I'll slide those up into there. And then I'm actually going to put Velcro. I bought some Velcro. And I'm going to put Velcro in here underneath so that stays down. I'll put some here. I'll put some over here on the sides. And I'll put some maybe right across the middle here. And maybe a little bit over there, but I'm not sure how much I can get there because the ridge is really high. But I'll see what I can do about getting that to stay down. All right, that's the bed liner.